Well, hello and welcome back to the show. My name is Adrian Hill. I am the host of The Crux. And today I'm delighted to be joined by someone I've never actually met face to face. We've crossed paths here and there with different organizations, but I'm delighted to have him on the show. He comes highly regarded from a lot of mutual connections to jump on the show today. So this gentleman has sort of come from a different background, working in elite sports here in Australia, and then worked his way up through the partnership space to now working for a very exciting up-and-coming platform called HiBob. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by Mr. Frank Devitt. Welcome to the show.
Amazing. Thanks, Adrian. Great to be here.
It's great to have you on the show. As I said, we haven't actually met, but we do share a lot of mutual connections, obviously, being in the partnership space. So I suppose for myself included and for the listeners at home, why don't you sort of walk us through a little bit of your journey to date and how you ended up where you are now at HiBob?
Absolutely. It was, as you mentioned, a bit of a windy road to get to where I am at the moment, but I wouldn't want it any other way, to be honest. But I started out my career wanting to be a physiotherapist. I'm a big football fan, so I loved watching I wasn't good at football or good enough to make it. So the next best thing was to be on the field in a healthcare perspective. So I went down the physio route. That's where I got into elite sport, sport fanatic. And lucky enough, during university, I met my now wife, and we actually had a shared love of well-being and fitness and healthcare. So we actually decided to enter into a university accelerator, where we jumped on the back of her amazing well-being platform she had created with another company. And we built that into quite a nice little startup that we then built and created for the next sort of 3 years as a bit of a duo that we brought on probably 10 to 15 people. She went and got some funding. And through that experience, I got to sort of navigate the startup landscape. It was partnerships was a big part of that, but I also got a taste of sales, got a taste of product, got a taste of marketing, and I got to sort of find my feet in a division that I felt was suited me the best, and got to a point where the sort of relationship was blended through the business and the personal side. So we decided to make a call on whether to pursue the business or the personal, and we chose the personal.
Oh,
so
good choice.
Good choice. Yes, I nailed that one. And then the decision for me was either to jump back into physio full time or try and find another spot within tech. And after a few weeks of going down the physio route, I missed the chaos of startups. I missed the excitement, the energy, the passion. So lo and behold, Luke Turner at Go One was looking for a partner manager in the content space. So I jumped at that and haven't looked back since. Was at Go One for 3 years in their content partnership space, then into their distribution space, and then jumped over to HiBob only late last year.
Yeah, fantastic. No, it's been a bit of a roundabout journey, but I suppose for the listeners that have listened to a few of these podcasts now, that is fairly normal for channel partner managers to sort of end up in this. It's not you don't go to university or school and grow up dreaming of being a partner manager. It's just something that kind of finds you along the way, and it's suited to a certain kind of personality. Would you agree?
Absolutely. I love the nice balance between commercialization, but then long-term relationship building. I don't think I'd be suited to a full-time sales role, and I wouldn't be suited to a full-time CS role either, but it's a perfect balance of the two, where I find it's full of positivity most of the time. It's a win-win-win in most scenarios, and that's what I like about it. It's the ultimate people pleaser role, though.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we'll touch on a little bit later on, but I think, even to address the win-win-win, I think that's critical in structuring effective partner programs. But why don't we sort of start by, talking through a bit more about HiBob itself? Obviously, it's a very exciting up and coming platform. But yeah, for the viewers, why don't you sort of share a bit more about HiBob and what the product is?
Absolutely. So HiBob is the company, Bob is the platform. Bob is a modern HCM. So we're one of the newest, or HRIS, some people call it, on the market. Josh Burson, who's a thought leader in this space, puts it the nicest in my eyes, where he calls Bob the Instagram front end with a Workday back end. So it's the best of both worlds. You get the nice, sexy UI and user experience, but you've got the depth of functionality that backs it up. So we're working with all different types of organizations, mainly white collar in the mid-market space, but working with organizations that want to invest in their people and put their people first. And yeah, we're absolutely smashing it. I'm not sure if you saw the funding round last week, but that sort of brings us up to like 600 million raised. We got over 4,000 customers globally, expanding into all different geos. So yeah, absolutely loving it.
That's amazing. Yeah, it's been. I have been watching the growth, and I did see that announcement. I think you shared that last week. It's great to see that coming through, and it is fantastic to see a software, a B2B SaaS product that I suppose carries over from individual consumers that go home and they jump onto Instagram and they jump onto Netflix, and it's a very easy user experience. It's great to see there's now a bit of a smaller gap forming in that market, so people aren't having to go and use these clunky, archaic SaaS platforms, and they just don't understand how to use them. So I think it's a great transition. So and yourself, at HiBob in particular, you're the partnerships manager for APAC. How did you stumble into this role, and what does that sort of role encompass?
So again, a roundabout way of jumping into a new role. I was actually managing the Go One and Bob partnership when I was at Go One. So being in partnerships, it gives you an amazing opportunity to get a little insight into so many different companies. And Bob, I got to look under the hood and meet the whole APJ team, meet the biz dev team, obviously get a feel for the product, get a feel for their go-to-market strategy. And it was, yeah, lights out. So when I saw that Bob was hiring a partner manager, to be honest, I didn't jump at it straight away. I was nice and happy to go on. But that Damien from HiBob, the ANZ leader, approached me to help him identify what makes a good partner manager. And that was a really great question. And as we were going through that exercise, and as he was sharing the different description of the role and the responsibilities, I thought, actually, this suits me pretty good. So I put my hand up a few weeks later, and I haven't looked back. But yeah, it was the first partner manager role globally. So partnerships for HiBob is incredibly new.
Oh, right.
And really what attracted me to the role, to be honest, was the timing. So HiBob being such a well into its scale up phase, it's got over 800 employees, doing extraordinary annual recognized numbers, recurring numbers, but hadn't had a partnership channel yet. So thought I could come in, I could add a lot of value really quickly, and obviously learn through this creation process of the program so many invaluable skills. So
yeah,
jumped in a bit of an experimental role, being the first one globally. They used APJ as a bit of a petri dish, see how it went. But to be honest, it went pretty well. So they've hired another 5 of me globally since.
Oh wow, you've set the bar pretty high as well, I would imagine. You do realize that guy's probably that was probably a hiring process, getting you to come in and explain the partner manager role. Very, very smart, very strategic. Excellent. So and what, obviously from a company that its traditional go to market, I assume was direct, or direct through outbound or indirect through marketing. How did you find? I'm really interested to know how you sort of found the the executive buy-in. Obviously, they realized that an important element of growth was through channel, but a lot of executives want instant success. And we know through setting up channel and partnerships, it doesn't happen overnight. It is definitely a longer-term strategy. How did you go for new partner managers coming in? That might be launching their own partnership strategy at their own company. Do you have any advice, or how did you go about managing that expectation up into the executive?
Yeah, it's the most critical first sort of 6 months within your journey once you come in, is to be able to show quick results, and it doesn't lend itself to what partnership strategy is actually used for. So it's sort of counterintuitive, and it makes the process really difficult. So finding a balance, especially in a new program, of acquiring new partners quickly, enabling them quickly, and then trying to show results is quite a hard task. So I guess my biggest piece of advice would be reporting. Get really granular and really good at setting out sort of your weekly tasks and activities that you've done to try and push and move the needle, so that you can constantly show back to the senior leadership team the pathway to success. You can't just rely on sort of monthly or quarterly updates, because as we know with partnerships, it's a bit of a slower, longer burn, but once it's up and running and it's humming, it's a most amazing go-to-market strategy you can bring in. But it's just about getting there, finding the right bits of information and feedback that you can give back to the team, to give yourself time, and just instill this patience in the senior leadership team to give you the space, also give you the resources, because you need backing, you need tools, you need other people to help you. So I guess, yeah, my biggest piece of feedback would be reporting. Yep. Just be super transparent.
Yeah, and then that's a great piece of advice. So further to that, you touched on different tools and reporting. What sort of tech stack do you operate at Bob?
So I was super lucky coming into the role, given the amount of, I guess, funding and how mature we were in our go-to-market strategy, and given partnerships was so new, I could pretty much ask for whatever I wanted. So I asked for Partner Stack as our PRM, and we got that implemented nice and quickly. And I think a PRM just provides obviously the best partner experience for your partners, makes it enablement so easy, makes tracking and reporting incredibly easy. And then from an account mapping perspective, we use both. We use Reveal and Crossbeam. We sort of want to be connected and friendly with everyone. So that has been just a game changer in the partnership space, obviously. So it's just turned partnerships to 10 and injected it with steroids, really. So I use those two. And then from a partner acquisition standpoint, I sort of dive into the BDR world and use Outreach and Zoom Info and all of their sales tools to try and bring on and build awareness around the partner program to new partners.
Yeah, fantastic. It's great to see an organization invest into the partnership program. You hear it all too often that these SaaS startups and scale-ups are like, yep, we need to launch. Here's a spreadsheet. Here's an Excel doc. Go forth and conquer and try and manage it through a CRM, which just gets clunky and the data gets dirty. So it is great to hear that companies are now starting to adopt PRMs and different tools to be able to give you guys the best chance of success, I suppose.
Exactly. You gotta go in with both feet with partnerships, and not all partner programs are going to work, but you got to give it everything you got. So I think Bob has well and truly done that.
Yeah, fantastic. And then touching on the partnership program at Bob, do you have a certain type of partnership strategy that you work towards? Obviously, there's different ones. Your affiliates, your channel, distribution. Did you focus on any one particular early to get that early traction, and have you evolved that over the last period of time?
Yeah. So I came in to the program with an existing sort of tech partner program. So there's an integration with a complementary SaaS solution that we're going after the same customer profile. and we had pretty much over 100 integrations, and all of those partners were sort of loosely enabled, and it was more of a passive program where we might jump into a deal together, but there was really no proactive go-to-market activity with any of them. So I had that as a foundation, which I was really grateful for. But then on the left-hand side, there was no what we call channel partner program, where we're talking about different advisory partners, consultancies, people that are experts in market giving their opinions to our customer profile. So that was the massive market that I needed to bring on very quickly, enable them, make them Bob super fans, and get them out there in market talking about Bob. So that was where I poured all of my focus and attention, at least for the first 6 months. So I went down hard acquisition and outbounding mode. Given that APJ for Bob is more of a growth region, we're definitely not founded here. So it involved a lot of sort of pitching and a brand awareness as well, because people didn't, Bob who was my sort of first response. Yeah. So that was my split at the start, was tech and channel. And I was spending probably about 60% of my time on the channel partner program and 40% on tech, because tech, obviously we had some really great foundations there. The reps were connected. We had a bit of co-selling going on. People just needed maybe to refine their discovery questions, maybe build better processes between sharing leads and then obviously tracking. So tracking everything, making sure that I could come in and potentially unearth some partner sourced opportunities that were there, that business just didn't know about them. So that's what I came in first. And then the third bucket for us is implementation or service. So that's very new again for Bob. We've only got a handful of those partners globally, and it obviously involves our big professional services team that manages that alongside me. So we've got 3 different types of partners, service, channel, and tech, all doing really well. So I see the future being in that service implementation side of things, because just the numbers make sense of what we can offer back to partners.
Yeah, sure. Excellent. And then how long did it take to get some form of traction? How long did it take for you to go, you know what, this is actually going to work? I'm getting a sense that, you know, the market is progressing. I sort of have a better understanding of our IPP or ideal partner profile. How long did that sort of traction take to start?
Probably 6 months to see the early signs of that J curve just starting to slope, and that got me really excited. So the first, I guess, quarter was definitely a slog, like that many unread emails and no responses, and you're sort of just getting 1 or 2 people sign up. So once you've got a sort of group of maybe 10, 20 partners, not everyone's going to give you a lead. So trying to balance the quantity versus quality of partners. And through that process, as you said, identify your ideal partner profile. So 6 months to see the early traction.
Yeah, right. Excellent. And are you still on that aggressive acquisition phase? You did touch on, you know, quality over quantity, or are you now sort of shifting and sort of streamlining back into sort of effectively managing the partners that you have online now?
Still in hypergrowth phase. I think I won't be done this phase for probably another 18 months or so. So I reckon it's going to be a 24-month process to get it to a place where I'm happy with it. It's humming. It's a good engine, and I can start to refine. So I've given myself, probably 24 months.
Yeah, fantastic. No, that's great. And these things do take time. But I think, you know, I think Go1 has proven, a lot of other companies have proven that once you get it done, once you get it right, and you get through those early hurdles, it can start to generate some really lucrative returns for not only the company, but the partners as well, hopefully in that win-win environment. And for those that want to become a part of the HiBob partner program, how would they find you? Obviously, we've got to send some traffic your way and make it a bit easier than the outbound strategy.
Yeah, that'd be great. Inbound partner, what's that? Um, so we've designed a really easy online sign-up flow. The guys have done an amazing job behind the scenes, which is a really big topic as well, partner ops. So I couldn't have done it without them. The sign-up flow taps into our Partner Stack portal. Application comes to me. I approve it. They sign the terms of service, and away they go. They get access to all the enablement, all the training, their own Bob site, the referral fees. If they want it, they can turn it on or off. It takes literally 5 minutes. So
Wow.
the team have done an amazing job.
Yeah, it sounds like such a robust partner offering. It is. I'm excited because, obviously I love this space and I love the partnerships and seeing these companies evolve. And you sound like you've done a fantastic job at getting that set up in what hasn't been a very long time. You've come in and hit the ground running.
Exactly. And the business have given us some pretty aggressive targets over the next 2 years to show the return on the amount of investment they've made. So it's definitely just the start of the journey. I'm really excited of where we're headed. It's only going to get much bigger. It has to get much bigger.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And you did touch on that before when we spoke about IPP. Who is your IPP at the moment? Who are you looking to work with and grow the partnership channel with?
Yeah, so I'll start with our ideal customer profile and maybe work back from there, because an ideal partner is essentially anyone working with our ideal customer that ticks our complementary service bucket. So our ideal customer profile is really easy to identify through 3 M's: modern, mid-sized, multinational companies. They're businesses that get the most out of Bob. So who's working with those? So it could be complementary from a tech side, complementary modules that we don't have, like maybe ATS, recruitment, software companies. We already partner with the likes of Job Adder, Workable, Greenhouse, Lever, Team Tailor. And then we also don't have an LMS module. So partnering with other vendors like Go1, LMS 365, Docebo, they're all working with our ideal customer profile. From a channel side, it gets a little bit more complex. So I've got a bunch of HR consultants who advise to these companies, maybe through outsourced HR services. They might do policy creation, or they might come in and provide sort of client-side implementation support. I also am talking to different digital transformation consultancies. I think that's where the big opportunity is for us, is partnering with organizations that are coming in and doing a complete overhaul of their tech stack. We might be part of a much larger project of a new CRM, a whole new payroll system, and they might tack on HiBob as well. So I think that's a huge opportunity. And then that sort of plugs into the service partners as well. So companies that are just trying to bring other companies into the modern age of the workforce, and Bob is leading that way. I sort of see us in a similar fashion to how HubSpot is disrupting the Salesforce stronghold. So I see us as that sort of more nimble, agile, but premium solution to the likes of a Workday or an SAP, the big legacy tech partners.
Yeah, fantastic. Excellent. And then obviously with all of those different partnership types, there's only 24 hours in a day and you're only one man. How do you prioritize the work? Like, do you have buckets A, B, C, or how does your sort of day-to-day work in prioritizing those different partner groups?
Yeah, so I don't have like a strict tiering system or anything like that. I might implement that later on, but at the moment, it's whoever I can do the most business with both ways is the sort of end formula. But how I determine that, I look at a few things. I look at their size of their customer book. What's sort of my addressable market? What's the opportunity here? I know that we've got a decent amount to offer, but what about the partner? I'm also looking at the competency of the partner team. I want to know, look, what resources do I have access to from their side? Am I just being blocked or potentially gatekept by one partner manager per se, or do I have a nice, good connection to sales, into marketing? How aligned are they with our team? So competency is massive. And then I normally execute, enable, and then test over probably 2 quarters. And if I don't see some reciprocated leads, I normally push our team internally to try and I'll pick a few partners that I really want to focus on and make sure that the internal team are driven to pass out leads to them. And then if we really don't see some collaboration and leads back, they might sort of drop down my tiering. So they're the sort of 3 components that I'm looking at.
Yeah, fantastic, excellent. You've got such a great structure in place. It's fantastic to see. And what's next? What's next for Frank and HiBob? What are you just? Is it all systems go, moving in the same direction? Are you slightly pivoting? What's next?
So I think we've shown some pretty standout results for the last 3 quarters. So it's just building that. We saw last quarter the first really big inflection point from the amount of partner activity. So just turning that to 10, doubling down on the growth. So bringing partners on, and then it'll be probably into next year, potentially bringing out more partner managers in different regions. As I said, we've built a global partner team now. So expanding that, expanding probably our partner operations team as well. We're going to need more hands on deck there, partner marketing. So building out the team in an efficient way. I don't want us to get sort of too big and too bloated. Partnerships, I think, have to run extremely efficient. They have to be nice and lean. So yeah, it's just doubling down on what we've done for the last 3 quarters.
Yeah, fantastic. Excellent. And I did want to loop back to the last question as well. You spoke about these partners that you're working with. For people at home coming into the industry, are you primarily speaking with other partner managers, or are some of these companies you're direct to the sales team? How does that sort of structure work?
Yeah, a bit of mix. From the tech partner side, mostly you have a partner manager in place, mostly whether they're along the journey as far into their partner journey as we are. Another thing that I look for in a partner is this partner willing to run as fast as us?
Yep.
And I look at what point through their partner journey they are. Rarely I'm hooked straight into the head of sales. I normally try and partner up the respective roles from each organization to make sure that there's a direct relationship there. I don't want to be the gatekeeper. I don't want to be the master of relationships. I think beautiful partnerships are built on sort of multifaceted connections, and you might have 2 reps that go and catch up for a beer every week, which is music to my ears. I love to see that. So from a consultancy perspective, though, you're working with complete different stakeholders, and a lot of the time people not from a sales background at all. So it just adds more complexity to that relationship and to a go-to-market strategy. It's more about, in all circumstances, it's about the customer experience, but even more so from a channel side. That's all that matters. So how can we provide the best prospect to customer experience?
Yeah, fantastic. And then probably last question from me, and this might help, some of those newer partner managers coming in. Has the metric of success changed from those early days setting up the program to now, or has it always been the same? Obviously, the ultimate measure of success is likely revenue, but was it that way at the start, and has it evolved over time in this program?
Good question. And it's a topic of conversation almost monthly. So at the moment, it's all about pipeline. And I think that's probably a great way to go about it right at the beginning. Obviously, our average deal cycle is well into sort of 70 to 90 days. So you're going to see the fruits of your labor much further down the line. So I think focusing on just pipeline numbers, which brings into the conversation partner sourced versus partner influenced. At the moment, we're only talking about partner sourced and it's fairly black and white. I think we're going to have to evolve down the partner influenced and bring into the scene a little bit more complexity in terms of how we measure partner success. So I'm sure we'll get there, and I'm sure we'll transition into a blended pipeline plus revenue generated structure of measurement. So yeah,
that's fantastic. Yeah, that's great. That's great. And yeah, that's Frank. That's been huge. That's been a really powerful session, sort of talking through your experiences. And I think a lot of existing partner managers or new partner managers coming into the industry will get so much value, as I did from that chat. So I'm just conscious of time. We'll wrap it up there. But yeah, I just wanted to express my sincere gratitude for jumping on the show and sharing with the listeners your experiences so far. And yeah, really appreciated it.
Thanks, mate. Great questions. Really enjoyed my time.
Excellent. We'll have to catch up for a beer soon and dive into it in more details.
Absolutely. Thanks, Adrian.
Don't forget to follow Crux PRM on LinkedIn or cruxhq.com to register as a guest.